Pokemon anime has some amazing episodes, but they also have their fair share of downright terrible ones. So in this video, I'll be counting down the worst episodes of the Pokemon anime. Now here's the thing though, it'd be pretty easy to point out all the bad fillers and call it a day, but you can honestly skip those episodes, and they're pretty inconsequential in the grand scheme of the anime. So relax, you stupid Marsh Stomp episode, I'm not talking about you. What I'm considering to be the worst are major episodes that actually contribute to the overall narrative and have left a negative impact on the series. So I hope you like Garganacles, cause it's about to get really salty. Alright, let's begin with the honorable mentions. Number 25, it's champion time. Tell me you don't care about Leon vs. Diantha without actually telling me you don't care about Leon vs. Diantha. Number 24, and we're looking at the same moon. This episode is everything that was wrong with Aim to be Mid. A huge waste of time during Ash's final moments as the main character. And no, it's not filler cause it's part of the Latias arc. Number 23, Pokemon Double Trouble, where Ash earned his final Orange League badge. Half the episode is spent on Team Rocket shit, and the actual gym battle was just an absolute mess. Number 22, Infinite Possibilities. After seeing every possible evolution, Chloe still doesn't know what she wants to do with her Eevee. That's it, that's the episode. Thanks for wasting my time. Number 21, Bulbasaur the Ambassador. A sorry excuse to get rid of Bulbasaur. At least Charizard and Squirtle had emotional send-offs. Here, Oak borrows Bulbasaur in the beginning, and then comes back at the end to say, yeah, never mind, I'm keeping him. Number 20, Watts with Watson. The gym battle was a complete joke, and then we have to deal with Watson's depression for the rest of the episode. I did not sign up for that. Number 19, Frozen on Their Tracks. An extremely boring episode, but necessary because it's the introduction of Looker. It sets up so much, yet does so little at the same time. Number 18, Hoenn Alone. Forget the perfect ending of the previous episode, let's end the original series by wasting your time with Team Rocket shenanigans, let Pikachu get sick, and then let the next series deal with that. Number 17, Revealing the Stuff of Legend. A whole episode dedicated to just waiting for Nebby's evolution. I'm serious, it's waiting the episode. Number 16, Battling the Enemy Within. Here Ash is back to being annoyingly arrogant and gets possessed, and yet this still counts as an official Battle Frontier match. What a waste. Number 15, The Battle According to Lenora. Here Ash is annoyingly childish and comes across extremely weak when he loses to Lenora. Number 14, Dazzling the Nimbaza Gym. Here Ash is annoyingly stupid in his battle against Elisa, and is the perfect showcase of everything wrong with his black and white portrayal. Number 13, A Grand Debut. And here we get one of the stupidest ass pulls in modern day Pokemon cause Ash wanted to beat a ground type with Pikachu. What is this, Kanto? Number 12, The Scuffle of Legends. Hands down the worst conclusion to an evil team arc. They couldn't even get this to look good. And number 11, When a House is Not a Home. A terrible debut for a starter Pokemon. I hated the forced bond they gave Go and Grookey. It literally came out of nowhere. Number 10, A Unova League Evolution. Now to give credit where credit is due, the battle between Pikachu and Lucario was pretty good. Unfortunately, it still doesn't change the fact that Ash lost to an idiot who brought 5 Pokemon to a 6-on-6 battle. The last episode did a decent job at showing Ash's comeback and even taking the lead, only for it to be completely destroyed once Cameron's Riolu evolved. This was honestly more disrespectful than the Tobias loss. I don't know why the writers thought this was a good idea. Cameron doesn't even win the Unova League, which makes this loss even worse. Number 9, Curtain Up, Fight the Fights. Can I just say that's a really stupid name? The first half featuring the introductions and opening ceremony to the Masters 8 was actually a pretty cool way to hype things up, but then it fumbles big time by trying to force a battle into it as well. And not just any battle, but Alon's battle. You remember Alon, right? The guy we followed in XY who had his own side specials and even beat Ash Greninja? Yeah, f that guy and his development. How about we not focus on Ash reuniting with him and instead make Leon wipe the floor with him to show who's the real top dog? I hate this so much. They could have literally done this with any other person except you, yet they decided to choose someone as important as Alon to truly show how unimportant these characters were to Journeys. This was a horrendous way to start out the Masters tournament. Number 8, A Togepi Mirage. I'ma keep it real, I think Misty had a solid return back in AG. It was great to see her interact with May and Max, she has a badass moment with her Gyarados, and her Togepi finally does something and it even evolves. This was awesome. So why did she release it? Okay, I get why, to protect the Togepi in the Mirage Kingdom or whatever, but like, this shouldn't have happened. It really feels like the only purpose of Misty's return was to get rid of her Togepi, her most iconic Pokemon. Why would they do this? That's like if Dawn came back and released her Piplup. Misty wasn't even a main character at this point anymore, so you can't even say like, oh, I didn't like Togepi, so I'm glad it's gone. Like, who asked for this? Number 7. Farewell, Unova. Setting sail for new adventures. This is the episode that kicks off the Decolor Islands arc, some of the worst stretch of Pokemon episodes in the entire anime. And leave it to the very first one to be bad as well. Here, Ash and the crew are getting ready to leave Unova via cruise ship, but Team Rocket tricks them into going into this fake ship. This episode isn't fun at all. It's slow, it's boring, it's annoying, and it's forgettable. Kinda like most of the Decolor Islands. I guess this episode isn't all bad since it's letting you know what you're getting yourself into. Number 6. Project Mew. We're counting both episodes, might as well since they're both trash. After a decent setup with the Project Mew trial missions, we get the climax of Ghost Journey where everyone gets their asses beat by Mew. The Project Mew crew are so irrelevant that it hurts. Gary was basically useless since nobody could use their Pokeballs for the majority of the time, and Go used Grookey more than Inteleon or Cinderace. It's almost impressive how much they messed up this climax. Number 5. Mending a Broken Spirit. Okay, now we're getting into the truly insufferable episodes. I apologize in advance if I start to lose my cool. In this episode, Braixen boldly breaks its brittle stick, which brings us to briskly browse through bunches of branches. Braixen wants none of them, so we visit this tree surgeon to fix it, except he can't, so the moral of the story is that the real Braixen stick are the friends she made along the way. I f***ing hate this. I really wish this was filler. It would make things a lot easier. We could just skip it and move on, but it's not. Braixen learns Fire Blast in this episode and gets that ribbon that stays with her for the rest of the series. The only saving grace of this episode is James's kindness. But of course, his nice moments are taken away by Jessie. Just another Team Rocket L if you ask me. And speaking of which... Number 4. Friend and Foe Alike. At this point, we should just consider this a Team Rocket episode because of how much they hog the spotlight. This episode was supposed to focus on the league battle between Ash and Richie, but instead, Team Rocket kidnapped Ash and refused to blast off. All they did was waste time and exhaust Ash's Pokemon so much that he was severely nerfed for the Richie fight. And then of course you have Charizard being Charizard, so Ash gets eliminated. I get that this was their first time doing a Pokemon League arc, but like, my god, why did the anime staff think this was okay? Ash basically lost because of Team Rocket, and then some of you out there wonder why I hate them so much. Number 3. Lost at the League. Now look, it's not even the fact that this episode was essentially filler within a Pokemon League that makes it one of the worst. I totally understand that sometimes you need a little breather between the action. I feel like almost every League arc has at least one chill episode. The problem, however, is that when you think about how short the Unova League was, how badly they made Ash lose, and how useless Virgil was in this arc, it really makes you realize how much of a damn waste this episode was. Why do you exist? Just one more episode dedicated to the actual tournament could have saved the Unova League from being one of the worst. But no, instead, let's just get an episode about this stupid baby-ass Axew getting lost for like the 5th time this series. Number 2. Facing the needs of the many. Now sure, I obviously have my biases towards Greninja, but even still, you gotta admit, this is some shitty ass writing. The episode begins with those weird Zygarde vines being left over and Greninja magically seeing the source in order to stop it, and then after that Xerosic shows up and the whole plot is about stopping him. At first it seemed like Xerosic was the cause of this, but the vines are still a thing afterwards, so they're completely unrelated. So what was the point of the Xerosic plot? Also, we get the bullshit explanation from Zygarde about how Greninja is the only one who can stop the vines from showing up, even though Zygarde literally showed us he could do this a few episodes ago. Bro, just say you didn't want Ash to bring Greninja to Alola, cause goddamn, was this release forced? I hate this episode so much because I feel like it takes away from the perfect ending we got during the Team Flare arc. And now the ending of XY will forever be blemished with this sorry excuse of an episode. The vines are still a thing to this day, which honestly infuriates me. Technically, it's Journey's fault for not resolving this when they had the chance, but also, counterpoint, this wouldn't have been a thing if this episode never existed. Man, like, you know you messed up when Goodra's second release is the least problematic thing about this episode. Number 1, To Thine Own Pokemon Be True. Oh my god. This episode is so bad that I can't even script my thoughts. As of this moment, I'm going completely unscripted. I'm serious. Alright, so after the perfect setup we got in AG about Aipom joining Ash's team and being interested in contest, to it being brought over to Diamond and Pearl and being traded for Dawn's Weasel, who's focused on battling. It seems like this was the perfect progression for Aipom's arc. And you know what would have been satisfying? To see Ambipom fight by Dawn's side in the Grand Festival the same way Weasel fought by Ash's side during the Sinnoh League. But for some weird ass reason, they decided to release Ambipom to play ping pong. F***ing ping pong! Like, the Greninja release is really bad, but at least there's some justification. I've heard some people say, hey, Greninja's whole thing is that he's a hero, and you know, now he's making the ultimate sacrifice, leaving Ash's team to save Kalos. Stupid reason, but it kinda makes sense within his arc in the series. Ambipom's whole arc that was built up a series prior is about doing Pokemon contests, and then it gets released for ping pong! What makes this even worse is that the episode right before this was Ambipom's last contest episode, and it took a fucking L. Like, this is character assassination to the fullest. This is so disrespectful, man. Easily the worst Pokemon episode of all time. Thank you all for watching this video. I'm really upset. I hope you enjoyed. Shout out to the channel members for their extra support, and consider joining as well to see these videos days early. Last but not least, make sure to live your life to the fullest and have yourself a damn good one. I gotta watch some good episodes now to make myself feel better.